Merry Christmas on this beautiful day, on the birth of Jesus. Let's not forget the reason for the season. On this day, we're playing one of our best of shows with Pastor David Hawkins, Living the Word Church in Collinsville, Illinois. He joined us a couple of times on the show in 2025. This was his very first appearance. And in fact, it's before our set was even complete. So you get an opportunity to see all of Adventure Unknown, which is in Fenton, where we moved our studio. So we're taking a look back at some of our favorite shows of 2025. And we thought, hey, on Christmas Day, as you're opening the presents with all of your family, you get a chance to sit down and remember the reason for the season, definitely bringing faith into play. And in this episode, you'll hear why we're all seeing faith really rise to the top. And I'm so excited for that. Merry Christmas, you all.
God says, I'm about to meet your needs. God's about to meet your needs. You thought that this was a curse of sorts, or because you didn't do it perfectly right. Do you all know everything you got did not come from your perfection or performance? Everything you got came from this word called grace. So God never factors your perfection into what he's about to do. God factors in the fact that you ain't gave up. Well done, good. It didn't say perfect and faithful. It said good and faithful. There are some days I ain't the best, but I wake up and I'm faithful. Y'all got to reframe your theology so you can begin to tap into the blessed goodness of God. God never based his goodness on your goodness. Everything you got came because he decided to bless you. He sought after to bless you. Well-watered garden symbolizes flourishing, fruitfulness, and peace under God's care. You won't have to think about where it's coming from. In fact, let's just make an announcement. I'm going to make it, and you can just say no more anxiety. Because anxiety is you worrying about something God already handled.
Okay, preach. Let me give you a little background before I bring Pastor Hawkins on. He was born the youngest, ready for this? His mother's a saint, of 11 sons and one daughter. He received his undergraduate degree in business administration from MIZ.
ZOU.
There it is, from Columbia, and his Master's of Art in Theology from Covenant Seminary. At the age of 21, Pastor David Hawkins accepted the call of pastor at Living the Word Church Fellowship. Now, this is back in 1998. He took over, ready for this? There were 2 members and a bankrupt church. I can't wait to talk about that story. Through his dedication and kingdom focus, he has seen God grow that ministry from 2 to worshiping with over 600 people, folks, 600 people per weekend. He believes in teamwork for the kingdom and is known to make the work of God lots of fun. We love that. Let me just bring him in. Come on, Pastor Hawkins, how are you?
I am wonderful, Monica. I am just loving the vibe.
Thank you. And here's the thing. If you didn't hear me set this up, I saw this man at the crossing in Fenton, and I just sat there and was like, who is this? I need to have him on the show. You all know, if you have been following for a while, that I am very faith-based. You're going to fall in love with him. You're going to want to, and I want to come and see you in Collinsville now. I was like, okay, honey, I know it's a drive, but this is what I need in my life. Okay, let's go back, though, to the beginning of this. Your mother has to be a saint.
Yes.
All boys except for one girl.
Yes.
And you're the baby.
I'm the baby.
How was life growing up?
Oh, life was adventurous. Lots of squabbles, lots of fights, and lots of conflict resolution. I learned that very early.
So this passion that you have inside of you,
yes.
Who do you attribute that to?
Wow. I would say that my dad was really reserved, but was very passionate in the things he did. So he was an electrical engineer. He was a pastor, of course. And I just saw how he dedicated himself to that. And of course, I put my spin on it. But most of my siblings are very passionate. Like we have an out of the box personality.
Are they all faith-based?
Yes. All of us are faith-based. We had some rocky roads with faith, just because of some church experiences, being that we were PKs. And so that's one of the things that I'm still trying to reconcile with a lot of my siblings, who are just amazing people. But a lot of that, where they had to struggle, is because of some experiences there.
So one of the things we did last week, Pastor, was talk about religion And again, we can go back to that. And for all of you that missed it, feel free to drop in any comments that you want of what you would say the description of religion is, what the description of faith is, what the description of spirituality is. And we can go on and on and on. I just don't ever understand the mentality of, oh, you're what? Oh, you're Lutheran. Oh, you're Catholic. Oh, you're Buddhist. Or you're this, right? Yeah. Okay, no. And close your mind suddenly. That I don't understand. Yeah. I have talked for a while about how much I want to do field trips and just keep going and just invite me. And I'd love to see what everybody's saying, but we all need to be keeping an open mind. That's more of the kindness that we're supposed to share to each other, right?
Absolutely. I think when we begin to see that God is bigger than our four walls, that he's bigger than what we've been comfortable with or even acculturated in and through within life, we'll find out that God has a lot to say through other people.
Amen to that. And in that clip that we just aired, I said, wow, Pastor, we have so much in common. Perfectionism is such a dangerous thing, isn't it?
Yes, it's terrible because what I think it does, it gives no room for humanity, right? The idea of perfectionism actually paralyzes your purpose because purpose is not about perfection. It's not about knocking the ball out of the ballpark. I mean, if we use a sports analogy, the best baseball player, the Hall of Famers are 3 out of 10 at bat, and that makes them a Hall of Famer. So that means they strike out 7 times. And I think we need to give ourselves a little bit more space for grace so that we can get back up on our feet.
Amen. You know, it's interesting. I was watching this is going to date me. We were watching an old version of Magnum PI last night.
Oh, I remember that.
And there was a young girl playing basketball. Okay. He was coaching and she was very, very good. She was his ringer, right? And so at the very end of the show, there's the game. And he's, of course, up against his friend and the police. And, you know, he wants to win. And he had asked her to get out of her own way because she obviously always takes the shots and she always makes them. Here she was. They're down 2 points. She's getting ready and she's going to sink that 3-pointer. You know she is. She looks over at the bench. She looks at this kid wide open and she passes to him and he misses and they lose the game. And she looks at Magnum and she's like, I shouldn't have listened to you. We could have won. And he's like, winning's not everything. And she goes, you want to be a loser? And he goes, I'm proud of you. Right. And she was in an orphanage. And so there were so many things. She wasn't used to that in parenting. And then it just brought tears to her eyes and had this connection. But it was such a learning part. That it's not all about winning. We all have to win and lose. I mean, that's it. But what do we do with that, right?
Yeah,
how do we brush ourselves off and get back up?
And that's the key. You got to have a sharp memory, but a determined forward momentum. You got to keep going.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, if you're just tuning in, Pastor David Hawkins, we want to go see him in Collinsville. So let's tell that story. I remember you talking about you had moved.
Yes.
And where were you living?
As far as when I came back from Columbia. Yes, I was in Columbia as a student and I had literally, so to kind of give you the context of that, born and raised in East St. Louis, we were taught because at the time I was coming through, it was the crack cocaine epidemic. Okay. And as a result of that, a lot of gang violence because, you know, who's going to sell the drugs on which corner? Well, we were taught that once you get your education, once you get out of here for college, never come back. And so I went to Columbia because that allowed my dad and mom to at least visit me, but I had no plans to come back to St. Louis. Right. I was forever going to be gone and would give them a ticket to visit me. And then God had other plans. So he hijacked my life.
Hijack. Okay, that I've never heard. Do you blame him?
You know what? I don't blame him. It has been an adventure, though. I tell you, he has a sense of humor. I tell people all the time, and you've heard it said, it's not my original quote, but if you want to make God laugh, tell him what you're going to do.
Exactly. Well, you had something, and again, I want you to follow Pastor Hawkins. Michelle will be dropping everything in for you of where you can follow him on social. But you have so many really powerful sermons that you have done, but also a quote that had to do with just what you just said, which was pretty much, if you think you're in charge, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like God will
and when you let go.
Yes. And I think that's the beauty of trusting God with adventure because we have these 3, 5, and 7-year plans, which is great to be a planner. But don't be upset when God comes in, who is the master planner, and says, no, we're going to do it this way. And he oftentimes takes us the hard route. Sure. Because the hard route helps us to develop a knowledge of him.
You just made me think of something because there are people who have written me privately and said, I love what you're providing us, but here's what what I struggle with. You just seem like you have such a blessed life. And I'm like, do you know I had one of the largest blood clots in medical history when I was 19? Do you not know that that is really where my faith ramped up a whole nother level? I truly believed he saved me for a greater purpose and that I wanted to change the world on a massive scale. And it was, what can we do? I'd hit my knees this morning, prayed to him and said, let Pastor Hawkins and myself affect even one person on such a grand scale that it makes them fall to their knees and cry and realize that there's hope. But you have people who will say, you've got an incredible husband, you've got a wonderful mother still here with you. I lost my father when I was 24 though, right? And so it's been hard because I was daddy's little girl. So yes, there's been ups and downs, but as I mentioned before, it's what we do with it. But it's those people, Pastor, who say, but I've lost a child, I've lost my husband, I have cancer. It's this, that. How much more can I take? What do you say to them?
Well, I would tell that those people who are experiencing that is one, God understands. He understands and he has compassion for us when we're going through those seasons of difficulty. But what I will tell you that there's a silver lining in difficulty that lets us really draw closer to God. I had a person ask me the other day, similar question. I'm going through all of this. What does it mean? And the first thing I come to, my first reflex is, what is God saying in the midst of all of this? Because he doesn't abandon us. He promised he'll never leave us, never forsake us, even in our worst days. So what is God saying? And oftentimes what I've learned in my hard times, which I have plenty to talk about, is that it really brought me closer to dependency upon God. Because when you're in something you can't control, then the only person who can help you is the one that can control everything. And so that for me, that's my faith lends me to the place of dependency upon God.
Right. And that's the thing that I've asked before is I understand when you think sometimes that he's not there for you. It's understandable. We're human beings and you question so much. But one of the things I don't ever understand is if you don't have him in your life, how lost you must feel.
Yeah. And I think in that lostness, it helps you to be found, right? Because difficulty, when you can't Amazon it away, you can't take a nice trip to Dubai and it away. You can't take a spa day and just eradicate it. It really comes down to this gnawing of the soul where God is whispering to you loudly about, oh, you're going to trust me now? And I'll tell you, it's the best decision of surrender you ever make.
Surrender. Isn't that a powerful word? Again, Pastor David Hawkins is my guest. And if you have any questions, I am looking. Oh, someone just said amen, right? Amen. We're going to say that a lot today, by the way. If you want to go see him and build this congregation from 200 to 600 every week. And I mean, are you maxed out? Do you have any more room for us?
Well, that number needs to be updated. It's now 1,100.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, somebody needs to get on your website.
Right.
1,100 a weekend?
Yes.
How many services do you preach?
We're at 3 services, 8, 9:30, and 11:30.
Do you have Saturday?
We don't have Saturday yet.
You're going to have to. Yes.
Yes. We're wrestling with a lot right now.
1,100. Okay. So what do you attribute that turnaround? I mean, you are truly incredible to sit there and watch. And I'm going to ask you where this passion all comes from and how you take it to the next level. Because I'm sure you're so good at what you do that you're probably every day going, God, take me to another level. Take me to another level. But how do you go from 2 to 1,100?
Wow. Well, that's a journey. I'll tell you, one of the main ingredients is long obedience in the same direction. I didn't inherit a church that had a great momentum structure or even money. We owed the bank money, actually. I took a loan out while in college that I had some little bit of money left to take a loan out from, my loan institution. And I took a loan out to get the church in the black. So our journey has been one of many, many phases. And I think the big thing is God honors obedience. The other thing is I've learned to be me in the midst of calling versus be someone else. Yes. And I'll call that word simply authenticity. And people really connect with you. And I'm vulnerable. Like I tell people my pain points. I don't hide it as though I have it all figured out. I've been through some very difficult valleys that I bring people into, not for pity, but to let them see God work.
Relatability.
Absolutely.
So did you all not just smile? I was waiting to see a bunch of love hearts go up because he just said what I say regularly, right? You understand the name of the show is The Real Monica Adams.
Yes.
Being real, being authentic. When someone allows themselves to be vulnerable, what happens in that space?
Well, I'll tell you, it connects with the soul of others. It tears down the walls of perfectionism that people tend to project on you. It also allows people to know I can make it too.
It's why do you want to bring to the table somebody other than who you are. I think too often people feel like they're going to be judged.
Yeah.
And they're not going to like that version. It's also the fact of social media, media that I was in, television, magazines. It's airbrushed to the nth degree, and it really does damage so much inside of our young boys and girls trying to be that. Right? It's the Instagram worthy. How dangerous is that for our children up and coming?
Well, I think it gives them a false image, and it tells them that who they are is not good enough, and they live chasing this. It's like a hamster in a treadmill. They are chasing an ideal that is really filtered in an algorithm. Curated content, of course, we understand we all have a level of selectivity to what we share. But I think the real healing point comes when I can share my pain, because pain is common to all humanity.
Right. And so all these social posts that you put out there, the reels, the stories, everybody's looking for all the follows and let's get viral, right? Everybody wants to go to that. I think I saw a video of you talking about that actually. But it's also the ones that do go viral. If you hear the message, it's not a hidden message. It's not some secret. It's them being raw and authentic and real. And suddenly it's, oh my gosh, that's how I feel. And it's, I want to follow you. I want to follow you. Right?
Yeah. And I think that we have to quit chasing attention. I think attention is the one drug that is number one on all drugs. And it is abused a lot. And it's because we are struggling with our family of origin. We didn't get the necessary attention that we thought we should have gotten. Or we think attention is going to solve the problem of loneliness, or solve the problem of emptiness, or solve the problem of not knowing where to go in life. But wrong attention can be dangerous.
And if you all don't think that this is an addiction, think again. It can be an amazing tool.
Yes.
And I really do love social media. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be able to be doing this right now if these platforms didn't exist. And I know that there's more platforms coming, and we don't know what's happening with TikTok. But if something happens to that, somebody's going to take over, and it'll be the next one, the next one. But yes, it can also be extremely dangerous.
Absolutely.
And we need to be more present with each other.
Yeah, I think presence, you never would have thought that physical presence would be such a commodity. I mean, with the social medias and social media platforms and phones, we're able to do a lot by hiding. And it's just the opposite of what we want. We want to be known. We want to be affirmed. We want to have a community that can hear us, see us. And so it's kind of like we're a walking contradiction.
That's an interesting one to marinate for a little while, isn't it? But communication, respect, as I mentioned, being present. I heard, oh, there goes our music. I heard somebody say the other day that there's a powerful comment about, as we go into Thanksgiving, as we go into Valentine's, the greatest thing that we can do with our loved one is this is interesting, to cuddle up at home and to pick a new TV show that you want to watch together. And I thought it was funny, though. They were talking about this on Channel 4 this morning. They came back out of doing that story and they said, yeah, because then there's no controversy. And I went, whoa. It depends on what they're watching.
That's true.
Because there could
That's
be.
True.
But find something that's not polarizing, that maybe attaches to you. Or play. I don't know that I necessarily agree with turning the TV on, but maybe it is finding a game night or whatever. But it's all about bringing the two of you back together.
I love that.
Right?
Honey, did you hear that? At home, on the couch, we pick
Cuddle
a show.
bunny.
That's it.
What would be the show with you and your honey?
You know, I don't know. I haven't really been into TV a lot here recently. I'm been into documentaries and sports shows. That's kind of what I do. And then other than that, I watch a lot of puppy reels.
Oh, yes. He is my twin. Did you watch the Puppy Bowl?
Yes.
That's better than the Super Bowl.
I loved it. Yes.
And we had some St. Charles puppies that were in there. Yes, they were already adopted. But which I thought was super, super cool. Yeah. What would she watch?
You know, she loves mystery / kind of like this thing with murder, but yet recovery. I have no idea.
You're like, why are you drawn to that?
I'm sorry. I watch it and be like, okay. And then she's like, he's in the closet. He's over there. And I just Like, okay, this is what we're doing tonight.
Interesting. So your wife and my husband would be watching together.
Yes.
I'd be over here with you watching the puppies.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a break. Pastor David Hawkins, again, is my guest. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about, I want to know what he would have to say with the people who do not think that religion and spirituality can do this and intertwine, even though I showed you that image last week that a lot of you said, you really got me thinking. And that's really what I want this show to be all about. So we're going to be back, both of us, in the blue chairs when we return.
But do you see the miracle that's brewing for you? When you unlock gratefulness as a part of your reflex, you change the atmosphere. You go from depression to celebration. You go from worry to worship. Yes, you do. You go from downcast to being ready for God to move. I'm here to tell y'all, change your language.
Isn't he great? I mean, literally, I have chills that haven't stopped since I stepped into this place this morning, which, by the way, if you're wondering, where are we? We're at Adventure Unknown in Fenton. If you don't know, we are moving our studios here, and this place is super, super cool. We're in the club side of it all. There are so many different sets that we're able to bring you, which is another thing that I love. So we'll have our main studio we're going to debut, I'm hoping, in just a couple of weeks. We'll do this big ribbon cutting ceremony. We'll invite the public out to attend that, and then we'll have you walk through here. But there's a cigar lounge, which is amazing. Pastor Hawkins said, yeah, I like that. He's got his own private humidor. There's also the ladies lounge we were in yesterday. And then this is the big open area, which is super cool. If you are just tuning in, again, Pastor David Hawkins is my guest from the Collinsville, Illinois area, Living the Word Church Fellowship, that when he took it over, literally had 2 people in the congregation. It was a bankrupt church, and it's now grown to 1,100 a weekend, which is amazing. 3 services. A lot of people saying amen. I love this. Marilyn said, so needed this today. Thank you. See, that's what I love. When we come back and say, what are the topics that we want to bring you? And when someone says that, it gives me chills. So, okay, Terry Wallace says, this is interesting. The Catholic Church changed the Bible a long time ago. The names are all wrong. And in Hebrew, names have meaning and are very important. Everything is in the name, so why would they change it? The letter J has only been around for 500 years, so how could Jesus be the name of the Most High? It's not. Okay. Yeshua is the real name, but don't believe me, research yourself. It's true. Constantine made changes and made the Sabbath on Sunday to worship the sun god. The holidays are all pagan. This is from a Terry Wallace. We'll get to that and we'll see what Pastor Hawkins says about that. Jennifer made a comment, and we talked about how I love the fact that Jennifer was able to connect us and bring us together. Yes. Jennifer said she loves him and how real he is, and that's why people are drawn to him. Marilyn wanted to know, can we watch your service online?
Yes, we live streamed the 11:30 service. Okay,
Latanya said, honest, authentic, vulnerable. Those are some of the things that we were talking about. David's exactly the way he is. Again, that's why we love him. Come, Pastor, Lily says. That's our plan. That's good. Be present with each other. That's what we were talking about, how important that is. Yeah, we're looking at your comments and multiple platforms that we're on right now. So share. We always ask you to share, like, and follow. So, okay, taking all those comments, what, again, gushing on you for sure, but what would you say to that?
To which part?
Well, to the long one that I just mentioned, yes.
Well, I think that's loaded. I think the context of our talk today, it would be a little bit more lengthy to explain and expound on that. So I would welcome him to inbox me. I'd love to give him an answer on that. But we have to always go back to the fact that the Bible we have today was translated from the original Hebrew and the original Greek manuscripts. And so there's going to be a transliteration gap, but not a meaning gap. So where you would say Yeshua, and we transliterate that to Jesus, or many would even go back to say, well, Old Testament had Joshua, which is a transliteration of Yeshua. What are we dealing with here? So we get into the weeds of that, but really it comes down to a transliteration gap that we have to give space for, because the way it sounds in Hebrew is different than the way it would sound in English.
Doesn't that go back to why we need to keep an open mind with every building we walk into of where we are professing our faith?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's all in what were your teachings? Well, that's going to lead me into what I was mentioning going into the break, which is, can religion and spirituality get along?
Well, here's the deal. That's a loaded question.
I like to ask the hard questions.
So religion is, in my opinion and definition, is a set pattern, a rules to abide by, a system or an institutional format, which allows you to come in, check in from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We're doing this, or on this day we do that. While spirituality is the feeling, it's the FILLING. That is, to me, more so about the connection with God. Religion is a byproduct of our walk with God, because we should have traditions, we should have rules, right? In the sense that give us boundaries so that we can connect with God closer. The problem is when we substitute the religion for the spirituality. So we think that just because we pray, we are connected to God.
Right.
Well, not necessarily, because it can be done as a practice, but not as a response between your connectivity with God. So I do think they can coexist, but mankind loves to control stuff, and we even love to control God. And I think that's where religion finds itself getting hit on the hand, like an old teacher with a ruler. Nope, you shouldn't be doing that. And it disconnects us then from that point, because now the practices, if you look at the Old Testament, had a bunch of laws, and Jesus came to fulfill all of those, ultimately abolishing the work of the law while giving us the presence of God.
Here's what's interesting. And again, just as he likes to be real, so do I. So I have such mad respect for my mother and how connected she is to her faith. Now, she is one of the most devout Catholics that I know. And it was hard for her when I started going to, I think, different churches, because it's the way I was brought up. And I finally came back to her one day and I said, you have raised some incredible children, Mom. Right? So we are all faith-based. None of us were into drugs. We weren't in jail. We are good kids, and we want to give back to the world. And I said, that's a true testament to the way you raised us. One, right? So you gave me the foundation.
Yes.
And then it was, I'm excited to learn, what is everybody else being taught? And then where do you just get lit up?
Yes.
And right, we've been showing you some of Pastor Hawkins' preachings, and that was it. Don't you want me to walk away from what I just experienced, that I just can't stop talking about it? I mean, I come on this show and I'm lit up with you. I might go to brunch after I go to service, and it's continuing to talk. Did you hear what he talked about? And how it's relatable to where we are in life? I wasn't doing that when I was a little kid. Instead, I was looking over, and I was a class clown. So I was like trying to find my friends and make them laugh and looking at what they were wearing. I wasn't paying attention. And I hear that a lot from people. Now, I am not dissing Catholic Church. In fact, I would love to find a priest that would light me up the way Pastor Hawkins did. It used to be, I'll never forget him, Father Doherty, when I was a little kid. He walked away from the altar. He came down and he was among the children. And we just sat there, we're like, we love him. And we listened to him. And I knew what he was talking about. But then that was lost. And so, yes, invite me. There was actually somebody who said they want me to come to this Lithuanian Catholic church in East St. Louis. And I said, I'm there. Do you know what?
I know exactly where that is.
So she wants me to come to that. And I said, private message me. I'm there. I want to be there. Because beautiful. Again, there's no reason for me to turn away to say, no, that like this isn't going to work. This isn't for me. But we'll find that. We'll see what we are obviously connecting to. If I come on a regular basis to yours, what do you want me to walk away with every weekend?
Well, I'm big on not just getting information, but experiencing the presence of God. I think that so often church should be both information and experience, and not just information, right? And I think the pandemic helped me to really highlight that more as a go-to from now on, because what I learned in the pandemic of how much erosion happened with some in the Christian faith, because, it was a difficult time for everyone.
Sure.
And what I what I learned is that people needed more than just information. They needed a real encounter with God. So part of our DNA at our church is you're probably going to feel the music on the parking lot. And when you come in, I'm a passionate preacher. So
yes, he is.
I use a towel to wipe the sweat off of my head. And I probably have 2 or 3 changes of clothes between services.
Oh, my goodness.
Because I go completely 100% for God. Because he went 100% for us. And so I give my everything into the preaching moment, like all of it. So
you're like an athlete.
Yeah, I would say that.
So tell me about this. So as a personal trainer and a life coach, I always ask everyone, because this is going to go back to that perfectionism mentality. We're not asking for perfectionism because it's never going to happen.
Yes.
We are imperfect, created in a perfect being. But the problem is we try so much for that perfection.
Yeah.
All we really should ever ask is that you bring your everything to the table.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Give us your best.
Yep.
And when I had the flu for the last couple of weeks, my best looked different than it is right now. Right now, we're fired up. We're feeling great, energetic. Started the day with positivity, hydration, good breakfast. And you are trying to bring more of that around you. So for people who feel lost, Pastor, what do you tell them in your services to try to give them hope again?
Wow. So the first thing that they need to know is that God is thinking of them. He designed them, and that there is something for them yet to do. Right. I'm big about actualizing. I want to give everyone the opportunity to see what God sees in them. And so if I can give hope, is for me a space of time that gives God to work, right? Because hope is all about the future. Most people give up because they keep looking at yesterday and now, and it doesn't look good.
Right.
But hope says that could be a better day tomorrow. And that gives God space and time to operate in the lives of humanity.
So, Pastor, what do you tell people that say, okay, I hear to live, they hear me say, live for right now. We're not promised tomorrow. In fact, we're not promised the very next second. We can sit here, give each other hugs like we did when we first met. We both said, we're gonna come in for a hug because you could just feel the energy. And then we would walk away from this, and I'll use it, God forbid, we end up hearing, what happened? Because it's life.
It's life.
We don't have the control over it. So we never know. I just talked about the unfortunate plane crash that happened. And it's like, wait, this person was just here, right? So what do you tell them to get them to really focus on living their best life every single second, not dipping so far into the past and staying there? We can learn from it, right? But also, you mentioned earlier that some people are great planners and organizers, but how do you know that we're promised 5 years from now?
Yeah, I think that's where we get into the space where only God knows that date. And what I will always tell people is you can't live expecting the worst, right? I'll go out this door. That might be a possibility, but my eternality is secured. And so I'm in a better place. I've done thousands of funerals over the 26 years of pastoring, and none of them are joyful when one hears the death of a loved one. But to be anchored in Christ for my faith, it just gives a different reconciliation for the person who is grieving. Even myself, losing my dad, I know he's smiling from heaven. So I don't live my life, though, looking for the worst. What hope does, hope anchors me to a future I have yet to arrive to. And that gives me motivation. And whatever happens in between that time, I can tell God in heaven, I was going toward what you showed me.
I love this man. Do you not? How old were you when you lost your dad?
I was 18.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow. And for me, 24. Let's actually take a break and think about that. And we're honoring both of our dads today. And that's the thing, that word honor, the ones that provided for us. And he did. And my mother, who you would love, by the way. I got to bring her.
I would love to.
That's the thing, though. This is what's funny. As we go to the break, she said, that's fine, but you got to come to Mass with me first. And I said, so we're going to 2 services today.
Love it.
All right. Pastor David Hawkins on The Real Monica Adams Show. We'll have more of this conversation when we return.
I was just on The Real Monica Adams Show, and it was really a good experience for me. When I walked in, the building is just peaceful. The environment is beautiful here. Monica really made me feel welcome.
The Monica Adams Show allows people to be themselves. It's really important to share kindness, to be real, to offer stories and things that will give people hope and a reason to smile.
Rather than waking up aggravated, disappointed, and wondering, where's this earth going, choose to wake up with something that'll put your mind and your heart in the right direction. Start with Monica.
And welcome back. If you're just tuning in to the Real Monica Adams Show, I highly encourage you to go back and watch this whole show. By the way, it will turn into our podcast, which drops on Thursdays. That's really the only, well, I don't want to say only. It is very rare I do anything recorded. I love the live interaction with you, but we do some recordings here and there. The audio podcast is recorded and it drops at 8 a.m. on all the audio podcast platforms. But right now we are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Rumble, as well as LinkedIn. I'm forgetting one. Which one did I forget, Zach? I just forgot a platform. X, thank you, X. Yes. And so if there is a platform we are not on right now, please let me know. We're looking at your comments. Julie Purcell says, Monica, same here. So many people say and still saying your mom would turn over in her grave to see you are now Catholic. I was born and raised Pentecostal. When they say that, it makes me feel bad. I don't know why it does. Well, it's because someone's going off on you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you say to her?
I would say be confident in what God is doing in your life with your decisions. As long as you're meeting God in that context, that's all that matters. So often we judge people's what I'll call religious practice because we think our religious practice within various denominational Christian churches is the right way. And so we tend to ostracize people who don't do it exactly like us.
Mm-hmm. Fellowship is so important, Sheila says. Lots of hands up and lots of hearts that I'm seeing. A lot of your congregation, a lot of your members can't live life expecting the worst. Pastor Hawkins.
Bring it on, LTWC.
That's LaTanya. Amen, Lily says. So many of you saying that this is what I needed. Diane, I was 19 when my dad passed away. We said we were going to come back and talk about our daddies. Yeah. I am thankful for the time we had, but wish there had been more. Oh, he just gave me a chill. Of course, we want more. I am thankful for the time we had. Always try to stay positive. The cup is half full. Interesting. What do you think your dad would be saying right now to what we're providing the world?
I'm trying to control tears because anytime I think of my dad, it brings about emotions because he was my hero. I love him so much. I'm the son of his last years, so that makes it kind of more intimate that we were able to spend so much time together. I think he's smiling. I do think that he is saying, "Attaboy."
Let me ask you a really powerful question, though. Why do you try to control the tears?
Well, one, I want to finish the show. So I'm not trying to control them to suppress.
Okay. I was going to say, I have a Kleenex nearby.
I just want to stay focused, right? But I have my moments. Like it's been a number of years and I still have moments of weeping. And I think grief never goes away. It's just it comes a little bit more, I won't say controlled, but expected and embraced.
Yes. For me, and I thought about this, and it's always hard, is it not, around certain dates?
Yes.
My dad's 89th birthday would be coming up on February 22nd.
Wow.
So this month is always hard for me, but oh my gosh, I feel so many chills today that I know that both of them are going, do it.
Yes.
Keep doing it. And by the way, just when you get here, it's beautiful.
Yes.
And I'm like, I know that. But yes, when the tears start to well up in my eyes, I will let them go. But I wanted to ask that because one of the really powerful things we've done on the show is to try to get more and more men to understand that it's okay to show emotion. And actually, it's very cathartic to do so.
Absolutely.
Not a weakness.
No, not a weakness at all.
You just wanted to finish the show.
Yeah. Just want to finish the show. Jesus wept, right? So he's the epitome of manhood. And also, Dad, if you're listening, could you lobby God to give us some money?
And get rid of the snow, please. We don't want the snow tomorrow. Is Mom still alive?
Mom is.
Okay, good.
Yes.
How old is Mom now?
Mom is 91.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, can we
Yes.
get your mom and my mom together? I bet you they both have just this amazing energy.
They would talk about God all day.
Let's do it. And then we'll go to brunch. We'll have a good
Yes.
time. I am coming. Which service should I come to?
Well, it depends on what your flavor is. So 8 o'clock, we move real fast. 9:30 is our boomers mixed in with our millennials, mixed in with our Gen Xers.
I like that.
11:30 is primarily our zillennials and millennials. And
Wait, millennials. I didn't hear that.
They tend to want to go long in service and they go hard for Jesus. So I would say 9:30.
Okay, then I want to try all of them, though, at some point. I would like that because I love to be around the energy of our kids to our seniors, and we need to learn from all of them.
Absolutely.
So where do you go? Where does this, because again, this is a subdued Pastor David Hawkins.
Very.
Where do you go to bring out what I think is truly, I feel, and I'm sure you've probably been told this before, that you are bringing Martin Luther King Jr. back?
Uh-oh.
Have you ever been told that?
You know what? He was a role model of mine.
I can tell.
I've listened to probably all of his speeches, read his books, so he definitely was a part of my molding.
Do you all know? I mean, those videos that we just aired, and if you follow him on social, I was like, oh my gosh, he is. It's that type of presence of I just want to keep listening. Don't stop the service. I want to hear more.
Yeah.
So where does it come from? Where do you go?
I have a strong sense of my mortality. That's what drives me. I recognize that I'm not going to be here for long, and I'm not saying that to be morbid, but that keeps me grounded in giving God my everything now and until that time comes, because we don't, I think we take for granted life. We think we're going to get another shot at it tomorrow. That's not necessarily the case. So I'm going to go very passionately hard now and let God do the rest.
So powerful. And it is, because there's so many people that I think have this in them. But they, just like we talked about emotion, they bring it back, they suppress it down, they feel as if people don't want that. But one of the reasons that I wanted to bring Pastor Hawkins on today is that we are seeing it everywhere in the world, from our new president to athletes to celebrities to young preachers all over TikTok and Instagram. Two questions. How much do you love that movement? And where do you think it's coming from?
As far as passion and
from the fact that people are speaking out more and more now, and they're not hiding their faith.
Yeah, I think, suppression has a lease that at some point expires. And you live your life under this box, and finally you say, you know what, that's been uncomfortable and itchy and a little musty. I'm trying to break out of this box. And I think that's just a part of the cyclical nature of humanity. We're in that season where everything is unfiltered. You can go on social media and you can see unfiltered. You can go to a local shop and you see unfiltered. And I think we have to add civility to our unfilteredness, because we, at the end of the day, are not called to hurt and harm people. We're called to build, love, and strengthen people. And I think that is where I think that's the next movement, is adding some civility to our unfiltered passions.
And for people like us that are so faith-based, it is the time. It is, again, we were in, like, everyone hiding under a rock. And it was like, how come no one's talking about God? We literally put that we want to bring God back to the table. I don't know why he hasn't been invited for a lot of you for a while, but it's okay. We're not judging. It's just beautiful to see. I mean, everywhere I look, it's like, oh, another celebrity is coming out and saying it. Normally, you would hope that you see an athlete on the field and that they point up and that they're giving it to God, or they are accepting an award at the Grammys, the Oscars, and as I've got to give it to the Lord above first. I'm glad to see that. It always should have been there. It's just, it's an amazing movement, and it's where we are right now. And I'm hoping that it just keeps building. Instead of going backwards again.
Yeah, I think we're on the eve of revival. And I would even say we're in the first phase of revival. I'm big for St. Louis, so I'm going to focus strictly on St. Louis. That's why I love the pottery here of St. Louis. I really do believe that God uses territory to send a message to the global span of humanity. And I think St. Louis is going to be a message board for the world.
I'm going to go a little bit over. Do you have time to go beyond 8?
Good.
Okay.
I'm good.
So my question about St. Louis, born and raised, very proud of it, and hate when I hear so many people going off on our city, right? There's so many municipalities, and all these people who were city dwellers, nope, I want to get out of the city, or they are going off on those in office. They're not happy with the mayor and other councilmen and councilwomen, et cetera. For those that say that about St. Louis, what do you want to say to them?
I think it would be equivalent to cannibalism. Yeah, I don't think that we understand suburbs and how we've expanded west can exist without St. Louis being healthy. no one comes into town to say, whew, can't wait to go to town and country. No one visits as a guest the area to say, I just cannot wait to just go to St. Charles. Like, I'm not saying those are bad incentives, but people want to see a robust downtown. And so we tend to get a black eye because we have abandoned our downtown, and I don't know what the end game is, to be honest with you. I get real passionate about this, because what happens if it becomes a crater? How do we as a community, as a collective, how are we proud about that? Mm-hmm. And it makes me wonder, what is the end game?
Right. And there's so many people, like tonight, I'll be going to the Fox. Shuck, just opening up at the Fox tonight, getting rave reviews, by the way. It's supposed to be hilarious, great music, etc. But so many people will say, aren't you scared?
Yeah.
I don't live in fear.
Come on.
Things happen in town and country, in St. Charles, in everywhere. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're south, north, east, west,
Absolutely.
what city, what state you're in. It's there. It happens to hit the news more and more and more, unfortunately. That's it. The media, I'm thinking, is really done damage to the fact that St. Louis has this bad mark. We're not saying that there's not crime, but isn't there crime everywhere? It's just, it's reported more there. It's like, why are you just putting this blanket sheet of negativity and hate in the city? Because all we're doing is more and more damage.
Absolutely. And that's the element. So where I stay in South County, there was a season where you would just hear drag racing all night.
Yes.
Drag racing. I mean, you would see and hear cars crashing. And being from East St. Louis and knowing how the St. Louis city and East St. Louis is reported if someone coughs too hard and they somehow have the police called to their house. Oh, my God, someone coughed near death. We think a murder happened. That becomes the headline because that sells papers and that gets viewership, right?
Yep.
And the truth of the matter is, I've never heard one report about the drag racing in South County. Not one report.
On Lindbergh?
On Lindbergh and Union.
So I did. I don't know whether I think I was at Channel 5 at the time.
Okay.
We did talk about it, and I actually had a guy reach out to me and say, thank you.
Wow.
Because no one was.
Yeah.
And then he also was talking about some kind of cruise that they do, and they were raising money for children, I think. I don't remember what the organization was, but they're trying to stop that. Yeah. But you're right. It doesn't the whole, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's down here. Let's bury it.
Right. Well said.
Right.
Well said.
But I want you to take your families and feel proud of St. Louis again.
Yes.
Just like we have a movement of bringing God back to the table, we need to have a movement of being, okay, yes, be aware. Yes. Like my husband says, have your head on a swivel.
Absolutely. Don't
be stupid and sit there and fumble through your purse and have your purse all loaded up. And all these things are happening because, yes, you are an easy target at that point, unfortunately. And there are bad people out there.
Absolutely.
We know that. But there are a lot of really great people also that are trying to change this world. All of you, that you wouldn't be coming to this if you didn't want a different world. But bring your families to Cardinals games, Blues games, St. Louis City SC games, go to the Billikens tonight, go to the Fox tonight, but actually spend money beyond being in that building, because that's what I see wrong is they go to it and they leave.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Oh, gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
I gotta get back home.
That's good. And I think, in any city that I've been in, it always is a culmination of multiple ethnicities and people from various walks of life. And I think that's just a part of the reality. New York has violence too, but everyone loves the downtown portions of New York. I think we have sold people on this idea that there's a bubble of perfection that we can live in. And I would love for us to really reclaim. I think about the arch. I'm looking at the beautiful display in front of me. I think about the arch. It's a gateway. Yep. A gateway to what? So let it be a gateway for goodness and godliness and bring forth a reformation that will change. And again, I think it's going to be the message board. So get ready for it.
Yeah, get ready for it. Drop the mic right there. All right. We are going to bring it to a close. We're going to take a break. Now, Pastor, normally when I'm in studio, I wrap up with a devotion from 100 Days to Freedom books. Have you ever seen those?
I have not.
Stephen Arterburn is the author, and a lot of people always ask, what are those books you're reading from? So I actually got them from the Crossing in Chesterfield.
Wow, okay.
100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety. 100 Days to Freedom from Anger. From shame.
Wow.
From depression.
Yes.
From overeating. It originally was that I was going to take it from the set and read from one book, 100 days, and then go to the next one. And then all of a sudden God said, no. Read from one. Read from another. Ask them which one they want to be read that day. A lot of people pick Fear and Anxiety. But when I looked at all the books, I was like, just as much as we just talked about, can religion and spirituality do this? All of them do this. Your fear and anxiety lead you to depression and shame and anger and overeating and addictions, right? And then we also read from Jesus Calling and Jesus Listens. That's what I normally do. If you're willing, I'm going to let you give a devotion here at the end. I'm going to take a break. I just want you to think, or I can go grab one of the books. Which one would you rather?
I'll pull something. I got something in mind.
He's like, wait a minute. You never know what I'm going to throw on you. Pastor David Hawkins, we're going to give you all the information of where you can follow him, how you can go and see him in person, and just to hopefully light up your life. And hopefully today has given you another level of hope. That is really what we did this show about today. So don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap up the Real Monica Adams Show with Pastor David Hawkins when we return. Welcome to the mobile Monica version of the Real Monica Adams Show at my favorite restaurant. There's something about a coffee house that's just very warm and welcoming.
Gives you that sense of community.
What are you most proud of since you've opened it?
I cry easily. I'm thankful for everybody here.
You opened the door during the middle of the pandemic. You got the best Italian restaurant in the United States. Here in St. Louis, you put us on the map. Does it scare you? Go through fear?
Terrifying.
So how do you get past the fear?
We find something to laugh about.
Welcome back. We are in the wrap up of our show, and it's been a really powerful one. I think you and I could do a series together. Honestly, Pastor David Hawkins has been my guest. We're, again, dropping all the information of how you can follow him. Also follow Living the Word Church Fellowship online. Get to a service. I'm coming to one, and maybe you want to come along with me. Maybe you've felt lost and you don't feel connected with wherever you've been. I get that. Marilyn said, wow, Pastor, blessings to your mama. Amazing that she can birth 12 children and still be blessed with longevity. Exactly. What is her secret besides her faith?
Her faith. My mom will tell you she has no other secrets but her faith. I promise you.
I had a cousin. She's unfortunately no longer with us, but what a wonderful woman. She had 11 children and only 2 were girls. And I was like, okay, Rosemary, you are a true saint. I mean, can you just imagine that home? That's what I'm thinking about. All of these little boys running around. Lily said, build, love, and strengthen people. Latanya, you felt the same way I did when he said cannibalism. She said, whew, Pastor, come on. Amen. I'm seeing a lot of that. Yes, Pastor. Good job, Pastor. Thank you, Pastor. God's blessings to you. Corin Robinson, did you say is?
Yeah, that's our worship pastor.
Worship pastor.
Yes.
He said, good job to you.
I can out-sing him, by the way.
Oh, I saw. Were you playing a guitar?
I was. They didn't connect it to the sound system, though.
And you took the strap off.
Yeah, I took the strap off. They do me like that.
Sheila said, come on, Pastor. Lisa, such an awesome conversation here. I find it fascinating. North City, a few blocks from downtown, seems to be such a divided line. And I'm thrilled to see so many people investing in rehabbing North City. Yes. I sold the old Malamphy immigrant home. So sad it burned down last year. Thank you, Pastor, and thank you for the hope that you created today. Yes.
Thank you.
Sandra said, God is glorified. Much needed conversation. Thank you, Monica and Pastor. Absolutely. Great show today. Thank you. I will be tuning into Pastor Hawkins online. Yes, so you can watch online as well. I was just talking to him about Amy Post, who was just speaking there in our promo, and what a wonderful mother, deeply devoted mother to a very, very sickly child. And again, having strong, strong faith. Her book, by the way, Out of the Darkness and Into the Light. We talked about, you have a book as well.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Dips, Disruption, and Destiny, how to get out of what life puts you in. And it's really about a parallel between the story of Joshua, my own story, and how God literally uses the pain and the suffering and even the inefficiencies of us as humans to build something amazing in the future.
How long ago did you put that out?
It's now 3 years.
3 years
old. Working on books 2 and 3 right now.
Oh, well, then you need to keep coming back and talking about these with me. Let's do it. Okay, Marilyn says, Pastor, please pray for our country. Yes. We need it. Yes, there's been such division. Hoping that division will simmer down a little bit. Living the Word Church, we are proud of you, Pastor. Awesome. That's from Kimberly. Let's see. Oh, he was not. Corin just said he was not. LOL.
Oh, okay. I don't know why he's even commenting, but it's a settled case.
You've got to introduce me to him.
Yes.
I do. I want to. It's kind of like our own talent show. I want to sing off. I want to see this.
It's already finished. I got it. It's decided.
Outside of worship music, what is some of your favorite music?
Wow. I'm a big jazz guy,
yes.
and I'm into the historical blues. I like some of the B.B. King,
Yes.
pull in a lot of that because a lot of the gospel music genre comes from the blues. And let me see, what else would I say? I have been kind of introduced to a little bit more of, what's this one? Oh, I love symphony and orchestra music.
Yes.
I'm really big with that. I'll have a span where I just listen to nothing but that, and then I won't pick it up for another few months.
So where do you go? Because I was just talking about this 2 nights ago, and I something was on TV, and I told my husband, I was like, we need to go and just sit and listen to jazz music. I love jazz music. I used to work for Smooth Jazz.
Yes.
And I loved the station that's no longer, unfortunately, in town, which was Red. Do you remember that?
I remember.
Oh,
Yes.
it was such a good station.
Yes.
And we used to have at Shaw Park this wonderful jazz festival, and all these things that have gone away, which I hate. Where do you go to listen to jazz music?
Well, there's a beautiful jazz cohort downtown St. Louis, right across from the Fox, called Jazz at the Bistro.
Okay, yes.
They have some amazing music, also amazing artists that come in. And I would forget the name, but it's in the Foundry. It's the City Winery is what it is. They bring in jazz artists as a part of their rotation as well. Phenomenal. It's intimate space. You're going to get some amazing engagement. And of course, Apple Music, if you can't find those.
So yes, Jazz at the Bistro is where I have gone, and that's what I figured, and that's what I told my husband. I'm like, you forgot about that. Let's go there. But I have been asked to come to City Winery several times, so I'm going to have to do that.
It's worth it. It's intimate. I think that's intentional. But when the artists come out, you're going to really be engaged because you're right there.
Right.
Yes.
Which is the same. It's very similar to Jazz at the Bistro. Did you ever see Jeremy Davenport live?
I have. Yes.
He's so
amazing.
Good. We all,
amazing.
So he was displaced from New Orleans, and we all just kind of took him in. So if you've never had a chance to see him, by the way, you and I can hang. What is your wife's name, by the way?
Valencia.
Oh, beautiful name. Yes. Valencia and Pastor Hawkins and myself and my husband, Jim, we're all going to go to brunch after we see him. And then Mama's.
Yes,
we got to bring Mama's along
We're
too.
going to let them have their own table, though.
Okay, before you do this, and I did throw this on him, but he took the challenge like a pro. These are the books, by the way, that I got from the Crossing in Chesterfield, because they have a bookstore there. That's where he was preaching when I saw him. But it's also available to you online. For all of you that are new to the show today, look them up. I think they will really connect with you, I hope, and fill a purpose in your life. Stephen Arterburn, again, 100 Days to Freedom books. Okay, I'm going to let you wrap up the show and inspire.
I will say that, this is absolutely unexpected, but we're ready. Let's do this. So I'm going to read from Psalms 31:7. This is the Psalm of King David. He says, I will be glad and rejoice in thy mercy, for thou hast considered my trouble. Thou hast known my soul in adversities. In this particular epoch of David's life, he had experienced one of the worst times of his life. His kids, his children, and many of his followers had been abducted, and he is left in the cave of Adullam, being chased by King Saul at the time. David somehow finds the space of time to write a song to rejoice in God while great suffering is happening in his own personal life. And if you read the story on further in Samuel, you'll hear David say something very powerful. That when everyone else was about to turn on him, he went into this cave of isolation and loneliness and desperation and destitution. And the Bible says he encouraged himself. There are going to be moments in our life where it seems like everything is against us and no one sees our pain and even our tears are ignored. And there will also be times where we find ourselves with no friends around and no one to really decode our not being ourselves. They don't ask the second question. Here's what I'll tell you. When you understand that God is for you, there will be times where you and God have to have a moment. David sings the song, even when nothing is going right in his life. My encouragement to you is that God is with you. God is for you. Sing the song. Even when everyone else has walked away, God is there for you.
And sing the song. Wow, I cannot wait to watch that over and over and over again. And it really, truly was dropped on him. I know that felt like he was preparing that. He didn't. I love you, my new friend.
I appreciate you. I love you too.
Was beautiful. I have so many chills. I hope you do as well. And that actually, you don't even know this, but that is something that so many of my clients struggle with. That is a topic that so many people have talked about to say, But what do you do? Why did they turn away? They're not meant for your life right now. And I say right now because there are paths that sometimes come back together.
Absolutely.
After we've all worked on ourselves. And then it's suddenly showing kindness to each other and welcoming you back, not hating on the person because they left for a while. You know, we always hear about the season and the reason and the lifetime. We hope we have lifers.
Absolutely.
If we don't, though, still wish them well. Don't hate on them.
Yes.
They've got their own struggles that they're going through, or maybe you do, and it's just this that keeps happening, and there's not this beautiful connection. We have connected today here and with you. I'm going to get him to join here so I can see him more often. He's going to be in the cigar lounge with my husband.
And they have games. It is a vibe here. I promise y'all.
Adventure Unknown in Fenton. Yeah, we would love for you to come over. My studios will be debuted just on the other side of this club coming up, hopefully in just a couple of weeks. We'll have to welcome you back for that.
Love that.
You are welcome on my show anytime you would like. And I will be coming to the 9:30 service, evidently, to pull all the generations together. One of the things we always tell you is to truly believe in yourself and have some hope. And I would really say stop listening to the news or the things that are on social media that you're scrolling to or the music that you're listening to that's not serving your soul. Bring in more of this. We welcome you just as he welcomes you into his congregation. We welcome you into ours. And I hope to see all of you that came today, day after day. Share, like, follow this show on whatever platform you're on and that your family and friends are on. Again, I mentioned that I want you to believe in yourself. Maybe you want to become a pastor. Maybe you want to become a talk show host or to help others, whatever it may be. Don't let anybody ever squash your dreams. Believe in yourself first and foremost, and all those around you will believe as well. And what does that mean? That means you showed kindness. And that's what I ask you at the end of every show. Be kind, and God bless you all. Have a beautiful day.